Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic related to reactive form, where we will see the introduction part 2 for the form array. So mainly we are going to know about what is structure of the form array, what are the key characteristics, some of the important methods for the form array that we usually refer or implement. And also we will talk about the form array validation concept and the real one importance. But before we get started with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on how to use form array for now we are just mainly focusing on what are the structures and other characteristics of the form array. But prior to that, you should know the basic, where we talked about the introduction of form array part 1. And to refer the structured and sequential content, you can also refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi and English languages. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Here you can see firstly I have noted down some headings which says Angular course by Sharmit and reactive form in Angular, introduction to form array. Now the first thing that we are going to cover is the form structure, the structure of the form array, because before we create the form array, it is very important to know the structure, right? So form array contains multiple abstract control. This is very important line, that form array contains a multiple abstract control. Each item inside the form array can be FormControl, FormGroup, another form array. Okay, so it could be FormControl, it could be FormGroup, or maybe the another form array. So these are the thing that comes under a form structure of the form array, and this makes it flexible as well as powerful, because now it has the capability to contain the FormControl, form array, and also the nested form array, form group and nested form array. Clear? So I think this part is clear, like what is the structure of the form array. Now we will talk about some of the key characteristics, because in interviews also, like they might ask you the question, what are the key characteristics for the form array? So you can simply mention that controls, first key characteristic is controls are accessed using the index. Okay, so here if you want to access the controls, you can access it using the indexes. Second thing is it supports validation. Yes, it supports the validation. So if you want to perform the validation operation, so yes, you can utilize the form array here. Okay, then another important thing is it supports the dynamic add or remove. This is very important line. Why? Because you know that suppose if you have created already a group and later you decided that you want to add one more form control there. So in that case you can utilize form array, because you want to add some values to the form array later on. Similarly, if you have already created a group and there you have already defined multiple form control, and out of those multiple form control you want to remove the specific one. Okay, so in that case also form array can be utilized, because it supports dynamic add and dynamic remove operation. For that we have some method that we will discuss in the later go, but yeah, you can utilize it. Okay, the third thing is the fourth thing is it can be nested inside a form group. Yes, so if you want to nest it inside a form group, then also you can utilize this form array. Okay, and another thing is it works with value changes and status changes. So for value changes and status changes also we can utilize the form array. Now the next important section of this session is the methods, because these are the methods that we will be utilizing in practical examples that we are going to do from the next session. I know like developers don't like theoretical much thing, but yeah, these are the some pointers that we should know as a developer, because it will help us to answer the question in the interviews. Okay, so let's go one by one and see what all methods we have and how we can utilize it. The first method is push method. Push method is mainly used to add the new control. So let's take an example. Suppose we have created a form group and or form array, and later we want to add a push. Later we want to add a form control. So in that situation, we will use the push method. Okay. Second important thing is removeAt. Okay, so suppose we have a form, and there from that form we want to remove a specific control. So to remove the specific control, we have one method, that is removeAt, and this method takes one parameter as an input value, which is nothing but a index. So whatever index you will provide there will be removed from your form array. Okay, so one method is for push, that is used to add the new control, and another one is a removeAt, which is mainly used to remove the specific control. The third important method is the clear method. It doesn't need any parameter because it simply removes all the controls. So if you want to remove all the controls from your form, then in that case you will utilize the clear method. Okay, the next method is a add index. Add index method will help you to get the control by the index. So if you want to get the control by the index, then in that case you will use the add index. Okay, and the last method for this operation is the length method, which is mainly used to get the total number of the controls. So if you want to figure out the total number of the controls from your array, then in that case you can utilize the length method. So we discussed I think 5 methods, and out of which 3 methods takes a parameter. So this might be also a question like what all methods takes, or it is mandatory to pass the parameter. So you can simply say that push method doesn't need any parameter, only removeAt method, add method, and only removeAt method and add method needs a parameter. Other methods like length, clear, push, they don't need a parameter. Clear? So I hope these method part is clear to all of you. Now let's talk about the validation. If we talk about the form validation concept, then there are multiple things that we need to consider, like validation can be applied to individual control, entire form array. Okay, so validation can be applied to the individual controls, entire form array. Second important thing it is useful for enforcing minimum items, maximum item, and required fields in the array. So if you want to enforce these things, like we want to make sure that it contains minimum this number of item, maximum that number of items, or required field, then in that case we will utilize this form array. Okay, next thing is real world importance. So real world importance, we know the key characteristics, we know the methods, we know the theoretical things. Now let's talk about the real world importance. What are the importance in real world? The first thing is form array is essential for enterprise level dynamic forms. Yes, if you are working with the enterprise level dynamic form, then in that case we can use the form array because it is essential there. Second thing is it helps manage unpredictable user input structure. Yes, it helps in manage unpredictable user input structures, because if we are not sure or if we are unsure about the number of input interaction, then in that case we can utilize the form array. Third important thing is it is commonly used in admin dashboard and data entry systems. Yes, so if you want to use it in a data entry systems or a admin dashboard, then in that case also we will utilize the form array. Clear? So yeah, these are the all important point that we should know even as a developer, because I know like you guys need more practical session, but firstly we will cover these theoretical things, and then from next session we are going to talk about the practical example where one by one we will take all the methods, we'll try to understand how it works, syntax, structure, and with a very simple and layman explanation. But before that, let's go through these things, and if you have any question, queries or suggestion, reach out to me through the comment section. So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching. Take care.